You thought that Dragon Age the Veilguard was a complete joke, didn't you? You thought it was bland, forgettable, laughed out of the room because no one cares about it. No one normal could possibly like this. How does it feel to be totally wrong? Because you were in an echo chamber thinking this. All the videos that you can consume, everything that you saw about it. No. The normal people, the majority opinion is that this game is fantastic. And there's now proof. Because Dragon Age the Veilguard, it's won big. At the Gaming Awards 2025, it's the winner. And that is Gaming Awards with a G-A-Y, just to throw that in there. It's very credible. Forget about Jeff Keighley or even just normal people online who are voting and giving their opinion on the game. Forget all that. We've got credibility here with the Gaming Awards. You can't discredit this, come on, because not only did it take home Game of the Year, Rook, one of the characters, I think the main character, I can't even remember anymore. Rook took home Best LGBTQ plus character. More credibility. This is incredible. Erika Ishii, one of Rook's voice actors, took home Best Voice Actor of the Year as well. I actually went through all of the awards, and it turns out there mustn't be any gay men anymore, because all the LGBT winners are all women, or they say they're women, so I don't know, but that's how it's turned out. I mean, I guess the biggest voices in gaming, the most important people have voted, and, well, Dragon Age the Veilguard has won, so have many of the characters. That's it. Settled. Nothing more we can really say, but I am liking this, because there's a lot of people who've been vindicated, it seems, here on the Dragon Age Veilguard subreddit, because everyone was pointing and laughing at them, suggesting that they might be coping, thinking that, no, this is a stain not just on the old BioWare games, the Dragon Age series, RPGs as a whole, wasn't doing too well in the RPG space. These people weren't taking all of that too well, so over the last few months there's been a ton of excuses. Oh no, BioWare are not responsible for this. It doesn't matter that they were the ones saying we hate our audience, pushing in their political opinion, self-inserts into the game. No. It wasn't any of that caused the problems. It was all EA. It was evil EA. BioWare just wanted to do great work, and they weren't allowed to. So there was a lot of that going on. Now they seem to have moved on to this. No, it actually is a fantastic game. Look, it's won Game of the Year. No questions asked. Let's see what some of these people are saying. Much deserved. This game has had miles better player queer options than any other games I've played, and I love RPGs. See, forget about content and quality of the characters. It had a lot of queer options, so fantastic, that's all we need. I'm glad it got some recognition. I feel like RPG Fan was the only gaming outlet to give it any Game of the Year in summaries. It's all corrupt. All these other outlets that are out there, even though we used to love the IGNs and the Polygons, because they would just give any slop 10 out of 10 if it said the right things, did the right things. Now they're under pressure because no one clicks on their sites anymore. Most of them have been sold off to big conglomerates, so now they won't even give the Veilguard 10 out of 10. They did try and shill for it. That's not revisionist history, this. They really tried to push and shill for it, but according to some of these people, it wasn't enough, because the Veilguard didn't actually win Game of the Year once it came out that, no, these outlets were lying about the game. It's actually crap, and most of those people probably had to admit so later on anyway. But no, only RPG Fan is credible, apparently. As someone who played a non-binary elven crow, this makes me happy. Okay, see, this is what I said. The normal people are here. You were in an echo chamber if you thought something else and had a different opinion. Wait, Rook is a fully customized character. Shouldn't Tash have gotten that? Won the award, being Best LGBTQ Character? I'm only at the beginning of Tasha's questioning of their gender. Don't spoil it if something happens later that makes me look like an idiot. No, we wouldn't want you to seem like an idiot. We wouldn't want you to look like an idiot. No. You get through the story. You tell yourself that it's all going well. The Dragon Age series is at its peak. Things are good. BioWare aren't going to get dismantled any minute. They've already had most of their staff fired. No, it's all going to be great. Tash deserved it. Tash deserved to win. Non-binary character should win the award immediately based on that, regardless of writing quality. It's all fine. I think they are responding to the ability to play as a trans or non-binary. I didn't even know what NB meant for a second. Excuse me. If you choose those options in the character creator, you can have a special dialogue about it in the mirror in your room, and the companions respect your choice in their dialogue. I heard something about the mirror. I never made it to that. I never even played the game. Can you believe it? Compare this to Cyberpunk 2077, which made a big deal about your gender identity, locks you in by voice, and has no non-binary options. Those transphobes at CD Projekt Red, they didn't let you change your voice or do enough non-binary things. Fuck them. Whole organisation. Horrible. Horrible people over there. For this game to let you use any voice and pronoun combo, while also reflecting that choice with narrative weight and giving you a viable non-binary option, makes it something remarkable. This is remarkable. The game may have totally failed when it comes to respecting the series. Even being an RPG, it was basically a phone game. It was a live service reskinned into a single-player game at the last minute. They deceive the audience. They never say that. They pretend, no, we're all in on Dragon Age. The combat's going to be incredible. Even though you couldn't see anything good about the combat in the marketing, I remember there was a developer trying to desperately on Twitter say, no, the combat's going to be really complicated and there's so much depth to it. Look at this 6-second video that I've posted that totally disproves anyone questioning it. There was all that going on. So did absolutely nothing to respect the player, respect RPGs. None of that matters because it's remarkable anyway, because there's non-binary options and voice and pronoun combos that make the most sense. So this is it. Gaming Awards is where it's at. You also get additional optional dialogue with Tash, relating to their experience and how Rook went through similar NB confusion, which is, I haven't seen it in a game before. I haven't either. I don't even know what NB means. This is beyond me. I'm sorry. It does seem weird to me. My Rook was a lesbian, and the only time it came up was when Neve briefly said, oh, but we're both girls, which I found a little old-fashioned, and it's not even an opportunity to respond with dialogue, so I'm not seeing where Rook deserves this award unless the other letters get more content. They've let this player down. Someone's gone really into it, and BioWare didn't do enough. Doesn't matter, the director was trans, they had all the self-insert. Remember Trick Weeks with the blue hair, 50 years old, who was talking all about that, lead writer, supposedly a fantastic writer from even the old days at BioWare. It's hard to believe that. The old games had some decent writing. That person either spent some time in an institution, came out, and something's changed about them, I don't know, or they never really had any talent to begin with, and other people used to be there were actually the brains. And the people who are there now, doesn't matter if they're from the old team, they must have been passengers, because they've produced nothing good here, it seems, and certainly nothing good. Even these people aren't satisfied. Some of them, it seems. Nothing is ever good enough. You can never be trans enough, or you can never be progressive enough, it seems. Plus, can't you play Rook to be queer-phobic and straight queer-phobic? What's going on here? No! Not really. I think the most they get is baffled, or just ignoring the queer stuff as much as possible. That is unacceptable. You will not be winning any Gaming of the Year awards if you can question anything, if you can be baffled by the pronouns and maybe the push-ups if you misgender someone. That is unacceptable. EA should have stepped in there. It was funny that I decided to give this game a try after a friend recommended it for being super gay. She was right. Seeing how it's winning awards for it. Yes, absolutely. Good. Now this is where the real coping starts, because you get those people, they're happy with the direction it went in, that's fine. But this person says, good, it's a solid as hell game, and it's borderline criminal, the dogpiling it got. Mass Effect 2 would get dogpiled into oblivion if it released in this climate. This is sort of that next level, these people, it's sort of denial, acceptance, that whole cycle. I don't know where they are, but it's not going too well, because this mindset of like, no, Veilguard is incredible, it's just gamers have changed and turned toxic. It's the internet that's the problem. The game's fine, there's nothing wrong with the game, it's the internet and gamers. Male gamers, especially straight male gamers, white maybe even. Because they do the revisionist history where it's like, no, even Fallout New Vegas, or even The Witcher 3 from 10 years ago, Mass Effect 2, these games would have been shat on if they released today, accounting for the supposed evolution of gaming and how things have improved, blah, 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 blah. But you just imagine a game of Mass Effect 2's quality releasing now, it would have been shunned, would have been shat on, because that's just how gamers are. Have any of these people played something like Mass Effect 2 recently? Because if you're being objective, I think Mass Effect 2, which I didn't actually play, and this is a replay I'm talking about, it wasn't that long ago, it's a pretty good game. It's a full game. It was obviously designed with single player in mind. It had some sort of plan. BioWare obviously dropped the ball at the end of the trilogy a bit, but just as a game, as the middle of the story, it had pretty decent missions. It had a lot of content in that game. There's various, I wouldn't say hub worlds, but there's areas to explore, decent writing, decent characters to talk to, companion missions that get you invested. Garrus's mission, for instance, all of the new companions that join you as well. It is quite a good package, I think. If something like that released today, I think people would be extremely happy. In fact, I think is it Owlcat Games, I think they are, who made the Warhammer RPG recently. They're making a game, The Expanse, based on that, and it looks a bit like Mass Effect. And I think people are generally fairly excited. People have just said, hey, just make a game maybe similar to Mass Effect. Even though a lot of us, we like CRPGs and that sort of old school feel, we would take action, Mass Effect-y combat if you get everything else relatively right. If it still feels like an RPG where you make choices, decent characters, areas to explore, not purely combat missions, but a bit more depth than that, people would be pretty happy. That's all people want. They just want something acceptable for the most part. It's often hard for these developers to release something that's even acceptable. That's what people were hoping for from the Veilguard. I don't think anyone was expecting they're going to blow us out of the park, not like some of those chill previews and reviews at the start that were like, BioWare is literally back to their best. Average people didn't expect that or have any expectations of that. It was like, can you just get back to delivering something acceptable? Not an Anthem where you literally dick around for 7 years and produce almost nothing, and that's getting shut down officially soon. How sad. Hopefully Stop Killing Games can save it. I think it's too late, which is a big shame, but that's gone. That's going to just be closed off for history. It's over. But we're just wanting that, something acceptable. A game that plays, is designed for single player, has the BioWare formula. Just that. They couldn't deliver that. They couldn't even get that right. And now these people, rather than accept that, it's, no, it's gamers who are toxic. No, they would have even hated the game back then. I've got no credibility in saying that. I've got no idea. But I'll just say that to make myself feel better about the massive failure that was the Veilguard. And I'll keep coping because it won at the Gaming Awards. So see, someone agrees with me. And this continues. I can absolutely imagine them calling Jack ugly. Jack was the one with the shaved head, the prisoner in Mass Effect 2 who you save at some point, and she's got some companion missions and so on. Well, the problem is, if BioWare released it today, we all know what would happen. Jack would have literally been jacked up, would have looked a bit like Abby from The Last of Us Part 2, and the companion story wouldn't have been about her getting revenge on Cerberus, I think it was. It would have been all about my identity. I've been trapped for so long in a cage in prison, and it's got me thinking about my place in the world. I want to start to explore these queer possibilities and what's possible. Can you help me, Shepard? That's what we would have gotten if they released something like Mass Effect 2 today. So this idea that we all would have hated it if they released something like this, I don't think so. Plenty of people love Baldur's Gate 3, and I'd say it's, if we're going to use the word woke, it's at least as woke as Baldur's Gate 3, and people still loved it and don't really care that much because it was a good game. So nice try with this. You can have this last hurrah with your Gaming Awards win. I hope you feel better. Unfortunately, BioWare won't be feeling so good. There's probably no one left to even collect this award. It's over. That's the end. Dragon Age is dead, but we had fun. So, yeah, thanks very much. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.